The time has now come to talk about the energy forecast for 2025. So if you like, you can take out your phones and you can take some notes. If you're a VIP, you are going to get these notes afterwards. They will be posted inside of the community, but you're welcome to take notes. I'm sure most of you know what Katie does, but there are a lot of new people in here. So a little bit about her. She founded an international channeling school called Connecting with the Creator. And she just came back from London and Croatia the other day, and she is, hands down, one of the absolute best channeling intuitives you will ever meet. I can tell you from personal experience, from multiple times now in group settings and one-on-one sessions, she's unbelievable. So it is my honor and pleasure to welcome Katie to the stage. Let's please give her a round of applause. Yeah.
Oh my God, wow. Guys, I'm so honored. I don't even have words, but I hope you can truly feel me, and I hope you can feel my heart right now, because I am so incredibly touched. And you know, guys, this event is so special to me. I've had a lot of events this year. This has been a big class year. It's been a big event year, but there's something special about New Year's for me every year, because my nearest and dearest in the entire community come together to say yes, to be in prayers with the Creator, to start the year together. And there is nothing more magical than that. So I want to start by just thanking you all. I don't take it lightly that all of you are here. I don't take your time lightly. I don't take the privilege of your attention lightly. And the time it took for you guys to wear these clothes that you're wearing too. I got a lot of text messages about that. So I just want to thank each and every one of you for being here, and I want you to know how incredibly grateful I am. And you know, our theme this year was black and gold, and there was a reason we did black and gold. Black was to let go of the energies of 2024, and gold was to bring in the new miraculous energy. And out of every spiritual group here in the Valley, here in Arizona, I am telling you, we take letting go of things the most seriously. Our standards of letting go of things are on another level, to the point where before you leave, you're going to have to take off all your black clothes and leave it by the front door. Oh, you're only allowed to walk out with your gold. My friend Victoria and Erica are going to be there with trash bags, waiting to take your clothes. We take it very seriously here. Okay. But on a serious note, the reason why we are here is because every year we come to restart our year together as one heart, one soul, and one heartbeat together. And one of the things that make this event so special for us is we do the energies of the year. We do the forecasts of the year. And I'm so excited to share the forecasts of this year with you. For those of you that are new and are here for the first time, we have this tradition where me and my dear friend Victoria, who's sitting right there, we sit in channel for about 6 to 8 hours. So that's 3 to 4 sessions, channeling in what the energies of the year are about. And we specifically ask the Creator to give us messages that are relevant to our group. So our intention is, Creator, give us messages that are going to help our group and what our spiritual community needs to know, but also help us to become aware of what the energies of 2025 are going to be collectively in the world that we as spiritual people need to be aware of. And that's why we are here tonight. So for the first hour, I'm going to share with you the energies of the year. If you want to take notes, you can. I am going to have to read my paper because there's so much information this year. I'm not going to remember it all. I literally am going to have to read through it sentence by sentence. So I want to first give you a recap of 2024. Does anyone remember what the energies of 2024 were? Any like good, yeah. People's here? Oh, yeah, that was an aspect of it. That's good. Someone said radical forgiveness. That's good. Honorable stance. 2020, oh, now you remember. 2024 was the year of the honorable stance, and I want to do a recap of what that was. The honorable stance meant that anybody who's not meant to stand with you would be moved out of the way this year. And for some people, it literally happened in the last quarter. So any relationships you weren't meant to have, work situations, clients that you weren't meant to work with, employees, anyone who was not honoring you was not able to stand by your side. The Creator would not allow for that to happen in the long run. So that's the first thing about the honorable stance. Did anyone have that experience? Yeah, seriously, like people getting moved out. And then also people that honored you became even more clear. Like, oh, I want this person even closer to me, right? So that was the first thing about the forecast for that year. The second thing about the honorable stance was it was the year where we were supposed to take gentle, steady steps. Does anyone remember that? If we tried to go faster than the Creator wanted us to go, we would literally be pulled back. Did anyone have the experience this year of wanting to go through a big bang or wanting to explode or wanting, I don't know, their career to go faster, and the Creator is like, sit your ass down, step by step? Did that happen to anyone? This was the year where even if you tried to make it go faster, you could not. You could only take steady steps forward, step by step. And for impatient people, that's really hard, such as myself and a lot of you in here. The third thing about the honorable stance was we were supposed to be very watchful of our thoughts and very protective of our mind and not letting our thoughts go into the gutter. This was the year where collectively, now we're not talking about our group, but we're talking about the collective consciousness, people were going to get a little irrational and they were going to lose their sense of reason. And I mean, if you think about it, it was an election year, so that just naturally will happen in the collective. So last year was really about the protection of the mind. Now, the energies of 2025 are completely different. The Creator And I know it was actually a very hard year for some people. I had a lot of people tell me this was one of the hardest years that they have had. So I want you to know, if that was your year, you are not alone. It was very hard for some people this year, for a lot of people. Now, 2025, the Creator wants us to completely focus elsewhere and completely focus on different energy bodies. The Creator calls 2025 the year of honest outlook. So remember this, because next year I'm going to quiz you. Honest outlook. So honest outlook, and this year is all about our vision. So you're going to hear me talk about the vision for the entire night tonight, because the vision is so important. And this year we have 6 major themes, but they're literally all extensions of each other. So all the themes that we're going to go through tonight, they're kind of all interconnected. So let's get right into it. Theme number 1. Theme number 1, the Creator said this year is all about the protection of our vision. And I want to read some channelings word to word for you tonight. So if I said the Creator said, I'm literally reading word to word what I heard in channel. So the first thing that the Creator said word to word was, "Dear children, the time has come for your vision to open up more than ever before. Your sight must see clearly this year. The eyesight that I speak about comes from the soul and not from the mind or the body." And this is very important. "This is the year of protecting your spiritual eye with my entire heart." And I want to say these few sentences really sum up the whole channeling that we're about to break down. So in the Connecting with the Creator Academy, we talk about how there's 5 major governments in our energy field. And these 5 major governments are systems that bring our energy field together as a whole. The first one is the body. The second one is the mind. We have the heart. We have the soul. And then we have the vision. And this year, the Creator wants to take all of our focus into the energy body of our spiritual vision. And our spiritual vision has layers. When it awakens, it's not just one eye, it's multiple eyes sitting within one eye. So for instance, in our spiritual vision, we have the eye of gentleness, we have the eye of hope, we have the eye of prophecy, we have the eye of intuition. We have many aspects in our spiritual vision. And I'm going to talk about some of the aspects in our eyes that the Creator really wanted us to open this year. So, the first spiritual eye that the Creator really wants us to awaken this year is the eye of recognition. And this isn't just our clairvoyant eye. This is the eye that helps us to recognize the truth within inside ourselves. It's the eye inside of us that has the window to the soul's truth and reveals things to us. So that's the eye that I'm talking about. Does that make sense? It's the inner eye of recognition that goes inside, scans everything. And think of our eyes, guys, they're like a lighthouse. They can literally move around everywhere. Have you seen a lighthouse at night? It goes all over. You know, it can look at the abyss of your darkness, and it can look at the greatest parts of your beauty. That's how our spiritual eye works. So the eye of recognition is a big part of helping us to scan our truth. And this is the eye that helps us to measure everything clearly inside. It helps us to understand what's going on. And this year, the Creator said, more than ever before, we have to look within our soul for answers. We cannot look elsewhere this year. We cannot look at the vision of others for answers. We can't say, what's he doing? What's she doing? How is she being a mother? How did she find her soulmate? How is he running his business? How is her Instagram profile? None of that. We got to go inwards to find our answers. And the only way we're going to know where to go is if we ask our own soul, and we have to stay in the circumference and the boundary of our own truth. Okay? So, when our eyes wander, our spiritual eye wanders far from the Creator, what starts to happen is it finds it harder and harder to see, and it finds it harder and harder to recognize the truth within. And the more our eyes stray outward, the more we lose contact with being able to feel where it is that we need to go. And so this is really, really important, because this year we have to protect our eyes from distraction, and we have to protect our eyes from wandering outwards, and we have to protect our eyes from the noise of the outer world. We really have to stay in our own lane with our own vision, if that makes any sense. And some of that, guys, it can be small distractions, like, maybe you have a dear friend and, you always kind of look at each other, to get ideas off of each other. This is not the year to do that. Maybe, I don't know, when you get on social media and scroll through Instagram, it kind of makes you feel kind of icky. This is not the year to do that. This is the year of really protecting your eyes from any kind of distraction. So a subset of that is, because we're working on awakening our eye of recognition this year, this is not the year of shepherding our mindset. That was last year. 2024 was about mindset. This is not the year of shepherding our mindset. Now, mindset work is shepherding our minds to think clearly. Like, oh, no, your thoughts went elsewhere. Come back, Come back. That's mindset work. Come back in. Come back in. It's the shepherding of our thoughts. This year, we're moving into a different aspect of our being where it's not so much about mental goals. It's about finding clarity through the vision of our soul, not finding clarity through our mind. So for some people, this means this is a deepening year because some of us are so used to leaning in on our mind for clarity. And sometimes our soul's intentions are so different than our mind's intentions. And that's why awakening the eye of recognizing the truth this year is big when it comes to protecting our true priorities, the priorities of our soul. Not the priorities of our mind, the priorities of our soul, and recognizing the difference between the two. So be very aware, guys, of where your vision is aimed this year. It should be at the most important things in your life, what's most important to your soul. The Creator really wants to protect us this year from deceiving ourselves from false values. And we're really being invited to be very sincere with what's happening in our energy, what's happening in our being, and what we need to focus on, and to have deep introspection about what really matters to us, and not get sidetracked by the glittery stuff. So, does that make sense so far? Okay, so that's the first thing. It's about awakening our eye of recognition this year. And to me, that's exciting. Very, very exciting. Now, I had this spiritual teacher once. She passed away, and she was a master psychic, guys. And she always used to say this prayer that I appreciate this year more than ever before. And this prayer is so in alignment with our forecast for the year. And the prayer is simple. Beloved Creator, illuminate my eyes of recognition and bring all the truth to the light. And I remember the first time she said this prayer, I was so freaking irritated at her. So irritated. And I have to share this story with you. And for those of you that don't know me, I love stories. You're going to hear so many stories tonight. I'm so sorry. It's how I learn. It's who I am. So, first story of the night. When I was married to my ex-husband, there was this time where we were looking to kind of expand where we were living and move somewhere a little bit bigger, where I could have a little bit more dual space, like dual space to work and dual space to live in. And guys, we had been searching for months, like looking for a home that was right for us. And finally, we came across this house that was like my dream house. When you walked right into the courtyard, it had 4 huge archangels, like this big, in a fountain spewing out water. And it had one of those, roundabout driveways where you drive in. And I was like, I've always wanted a roundabout driveway with a fountain, And I mean, archangels spewing out water, come on. I hadn't even entered into this house, and I'm like, wow. So then we enter in, and it was 3 different buildings connected to one. And it had a main building, which was the home, and then it had 2 extra buildings, and 3 extra kitchens, and 10 extra bedrooms. I'm like, this is my retreat home. I found my retreat home. This is where it's going to be. It was a little out of our budget, but nothing that we couldn't rally and figure out. And when we walked through it, the owner was there that day, and it was a really spiritual guy, and we really connected, and he was going through a family emergency, and he was doing like a short sale or something, and really bypassing a lot of steps, and he just wanted the house sold really quickly because he needed a lot of cash for his family emergency. And there were, I think, 9 other applicants that wanted that house. But because we had connected, he said to us, you know what? I'm going to give you 24 hours. If you want this house is yours. So in my head, I'm like, I already want this house. I don't even need 24 hours. But, my ex-husband looked at me and said, okay, just calm down, And he loved it too, though. He absolutely loved that house. So I did what I always did back then. I called my dear spiritual teacher, my favorite psychic in the world. I told her I found the house. And she's like, oh, that's great. And I started talking about it. And she said, Katie, I'm not getting good feelings. And I'm like, shut up. Like, I don't want to hear that. And she's like, let's do a prayer. Let's do a prayer for whatever needs to be recognized, and for the truth to come to light. So she gets into this prayer mode and she's like, beloved Creator, illuminate Katie's eyes and bring the truth to the light. And I'm like, like literally, like I'm not even in it with her. Like she is praying alone. Like in my mind, that's already my house, right? And then the next morning, someone messaged me on Facebook, and it was this architect friend of mine who I hadn't seen for years, and he was going through a hard time. We got on the phone call, and he told me what was going on. And then I said, oh my God, I'm getting this house today. He's like, you know what? Why don't I walk through it with you? I'm like, that would be amazing. I'd love a few things fixed. Some things need to be renovated. That would be great. So we go back to the house. We walk through it again. We walk through the whole thing, and I'm like, look at this, and look at this, and I'm on a high, and look at this. And after the end of the night, after the end of the day, when we did the walkthrough, he said, Katie, whatever you do, do not buy this house. And I'm like, why? And he's like, they're being very sneaky, but half the stuff is not up to code. And it's built on such a bad foundation that you are literally only buying the land, and you are going to have to demolish half of this and rebuild again. And I'm like, that freaking psychic teacher. Literally, within 24 hours, the truth got revealed. And that's the energy that we are going into this year. This is the year where we need to protect ourselves from not having any false assumptions and creating false visions, and really letting the eye of recognition show us the truth. Does that make sense? And this leads us to our second theme, which is very interconnected to the first theme, very interconnected. The Creator said, this is the year of making honesty the deepest value you have in your soul. So this is the year of making honesty the deepest value you have in your soul. That's a very big sentence. To let honesty be the biggest value that you have, it's a big deal. So this is not just honesty with others, it's honesty with ourselves. This is the year where we must be honest with what's in front of us and not be afraid of seeing what's in front of us very clearly. And we must love honesty, not only in all that we do, but we must have a passion to speak truthfully this year. Speak truthfully to whoever it is, our family members, our close relationships. We must be very truthful and honest with our words as well. And when I was sitting in channel, I saw the Creator and I saw our group tonight, almost like we were all here preparing together. And I saw the Creator like waves of energy entering into our group. And I saw the Creator speaking to our eyes and saying, what is it that you really want? Almost like it was asking us to be very honest with ourselves, but in a very tender way, not in a harsh way. Like, my dear child, what is it that you really want? And it wasn't asking our mind, it was asking our soul. And so, for some people that can mean, do I really like him? Or is this just my lower desire body? Do I really want to partner with her for business this year? Or am I just afraid to stand alone? These are the honest questions that we need to ask ourselves this year. And sometimes the honest questions take a little bit of sitting, take a little bit of allowing it to emerge through you. I want to share another story with you guys. When I used to live in the Middle East, I used to have a lot of Arab ladies who loved doing readings. Like that was like their thing. Like whatever it was, like even if you give them a coffee cup and tell them you see a, I don't know, head of a lion in there, they would be so excited. You know, there were, you know, that's like the Arab nature. It's really cute. What do you see? Tell me. You know, it's so cute. So this woman comes in for a reading, and she wanted to know whether it was time for her to move to the specific location in town. So in Dubai, we have something called Emirates Hills. It's the equivalent to Beverly Hills. It's like the place to live. And all her life, this woman had wanted to live in Emirates Hills. It was like her thing. It's what she wanted to do. And she was sharing her story of how she began from nothing and she worked so hard, you know, and a single mom, you know, protecting her kid, you know, taking care from scratch, just all of that stuff, right? Starting from nothing and building her way up. And she's like, I'm finally at the place where I can afford living in Emirates Hills. And I want to ask the Creator if this is right for me. And I said, okay. So I was actually very impressed of how hard, you know, she's moved up in life and how, you know, just all the hardships and everything that she'd been through. So we do a session, and it was very interesting because the Creator came through and said, no. I want you to save your money and put it in your daughter's school. Put her in the best artist school you can possibly find for her. Because one day she is going to be one of the best artists the Middle East has ever seen. And her daughter was only 8 years old. So this is what I mean by we're really being called to be candid with what it is that we really want to achieve this year and where our motives are really coming from and what our true priorities are. And I saw a lot of honesty happening this year. I saw honest deliberation in families. I saw friends discussing what's important, what's working, what's not. So this is a year of a lot of internal honesty. And I feel like for people like us in this room, we're such spiritually connected group. The Creator literally said this in one of the last channeling that I did, that this would be a very spiritually connected group that came through this year. I feel like for us, we're always searching for honesty. So this shouldn't really scare us at all. This is just us being us, right? So don't let this scare you. It's not meant to. Just let the next layers of it come up in the most exciting way. So, moving on to the next thing. The Creator said there will be many visionaries in this room tonight. Visionaries are those that already allow God into their eyes. And the Creator said to us specifically that we must open up the doorway of truth for everyone else to see wisely. So this is for us this year. Be prepared to open the doorway of truth for many this year. We're really being called because many people won't know where to look for their answers because they don't have the tool of how to look within. So us as light workers, us as leaders in this room, you know, us as, you know, ones that have built our own communities, this is the year to show people how to find their own answers. So be prepared, my brothers and sisters, to do a lot of work, a lot of guiding to serve people and to help them to recognize the truth very honestly this year. Now, seeing the truth in another person is a really powerful thing, and I want to explain what I mean by that. Seeing someone's truth is not seeing someone's crap, okay? It's very easy. The first thing we can do is look at someone, scan them up and down and say, she's got abandonment issues. Or he's got abundance issues. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not showing someone else their truth. It's so easy to point out people's blockages. When people do that, I am not impressed. What impresses me are people that can see through other people's souls into their true nature of who they are. And that is what we're being called to do this year. We are being called to remind other people of how beautiful their souls are. Not what crap sits inside of them. Let's face it, guys, fear is just a temporary entrapment. It's not who we really are. You know? It's not. So the Creator said to me in one of the sessions, when I first started the Connecting with the Creator work, I used to do a lot of psychotherapy. So I was used to doing a lot of release work, and I was used to looking at people's crap all day. It's what I used to search for. And when the Connecting with the Creator work first started for me, and the Creator started coming through in this new way, the Creator came through and said something I'll never forget. The Creator pulled me back and said, "My dear daughter, focus not on their fears, but on the truth of who they are, for that is how I see them." And the Creator pulled me out of that person's energy field, the person I was doing a reading with, and said, "Stop looking at the layers of their dungeon. That's not how I see them." So this year, let's focus on the truth of who people are, and let's help them to see it within inside themselves as well. Now, for those that are honest this year, this is going to be a very desirable year. They're amazing, desirable outcomes. Guys, I saw us cruising along, man. Like, it's going to be a good year for those that are honest. You know, I saw us feeling safe in the world, those that are being honest. I saw us feeling like we're on path. I saw us, for those that have clarity, they're really going to enjoy a lot of deep friendships this year. I saw the heart of truthfulness will really lead us towards the promised land. And for those that already have a beautiful connection with the divine, which is basically all of us in this room, this year is about opening up miracles in your spiritual sight. Miracles. This part of the channeling was one of the high points of the channeling, where I literally saw us having miraculous manifestations in our vision. I saw us being deeply faithful. I saw us being so mesmerized by the truth, by what we see, by what the visions that we have. And this year, I saw our eyes shining bright with wonder of how incredible our life can be and how overjoyed we are for God's will for us and being able to see God's will for us. So another beautiful prayer to have this year is, Creator, let me be mesmerized by the truth you wish to show me. Isn't that beautiful? Let me be mesmerized by the truth you wish to show me. And, you know, man, I'm so stubborn sometimes. I would really love to embody this prayer. For me, when the Creator gives me a message, first, when I hear it, it's, hell no! You know, and then like I let it marinate for a few days, and then I'm like, really? Really? Like, really? Are you sure? And then in a few days after that, I kind of let it marinate like a little bit more. And I'm like, but do I have to? You know, do I really have to? And then I'll kind of let it marinate a little bit more. Maybe after a few weeks, you know, now the Creator's been hammering me every day. And now it's like, okay, I clearly see I have no other choice, so I accept, you know. And then 2 years later, okay, 2 years goes by, and finally I'm like, I guess it wasn't that bad, you know. So that's my process of resistance, just so you guys know. And so to hear the prayer, Creator, let me be mesmerized by your truth, sounds so exciting to me. So, so, so exciting. Okay, so moving on. Our first theme, I'm going to give us a recap before we move forward. Opening up our eyes of recognition, seeing the truth from within. Our second theme is making honesty our deepest value. Our third theme of the year, again, very connected to the first two, is this is the year of humble consideration and contemplation. We are really being called to honor how deeply we consider things with humility. And that's the key right there. with humility so that we don't make decisions out of unhealthy motives and we really let the Creator lead our way. I love the word humility. I feel like it's such a humility is such a refinement. It's an ongoing refinement in our lives. There's so many layers to humility. And to me, humility in this case means, Creator, I really don't know. I may think I know, but I don't know. So you tell me. You show me. And this is what this year is about, considering things with humility. And really allowing the Creator's outlook to shape and sustain our clarity this year. Now, in order for us to have honesty and to consider things humbly in any situation in our life, first, we have to feel safe. This is really big. And if just examples, if it's time to divorce someone we've been with for 10 years, or it's time to move state, or I don't know, it's time to go through a career change. These things can be so terrifying for the vision to consider. Very, very terrifying. So in order for the vision to even consider it, it needs to feel safe in order to even allow its energy to even process that. And the spiritual eye, it's very, very interesting because when the spiritual eye is afraid and you look at it energetically, it literally just shuts down. It literally just closes. There is no in between. It closes and it says, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I'm not looking. I'm not looking. I'm not looking. That's what the spiritual eye does when it's afraid. So our spiritual eye needs to feel the assurance and safety to be able to look at the truth. And the Creator said, my dear children, you must contemplate everything through the security of my heart this year. And I found that so beautiful, to contemplate everything through the security of the Creator's heart. And when I felt those words, I felt like the Creator was holding us, Source, God, whatever you want to call it, was holding us in so much safety that we were able to process and consider whatever it is that we needed to consider in a humble way. So the more we're held by the Creator, the less fearful, the less threatened, the less anxious our mind is going to be, and the more clear our thoughts and our conclusions are going to be about everything. Does that make sense? All right. So the next part of our prayer is, let all my contemplations happen through your heart, which we just spoke about. All right, now the other side of this theme. For those that don't allow themselves to be held by the Creator and to contemplate their decisions in God's safety, in God's heart, they may feel a little threatened by the truth. And this is one thing the Creator wanted us to know about the collective. So the collective, I don't mean what's in this room, I mean what's going to happen in the world this year. This is the year where the doorway of dishonesty is going to be wide open in the world, in our collective. People that are nervous, people that are disconnected, you will see that they'll have a hard time finding clarity, and you'll see them in a lot of indecision as well. Or you'll see a lot of dishonesty in their field, even though you may be able to see it and they may not be able to recognize it. So this year you may see people wanting to bury things. You may see people kind of feeling resistant about where the Creator wants to take them, the next steps of where they're supposed to go. You'll see some people kind of just not wanting to focus on things and kind of ignoring it and kind of throwing it to the side. That's the opposite side of the theme this year, if people are going against the current. And I personally like to know what's going to come, almost so I know how to deal with people. Not for it to be a doom and gloom thing at all, just so I know, okay, this is the wave of what's coming in. Okay, this is the tools that we need to pull out of our toolbox, right? And the Creator said, my dear children, this is the year where you must pray for many to come out of denial. To deny oneself is to deny the ultimate vision of truth inside of you. And so you may see people freezing in their being. And when we're in denial, it's kind of like a pause on divine timing. It just kind of pauses everything. It just kind of freezes everything. And because of that, we are now going to connect it to the fourth theme of this year, and where we need to stand with people that are afraid and dishonest. The Creator said, this is the year of looking through the eyes of elegance and compassion. So this is our fourth theme. As we watch people go through what they're going through, it's very important that we have elegant eyes this year. Elegant eyes are eyes that emanate thoughtfulness, emanate gentleness. The Creator said, elegant eyes are regal eyes because they look through my sight and understand my vision deeply. So this year, when situations rise up, not only do we need our elegant eyes to awaken, we also need compassion in our hearts this year. And have a lot of compassion for people that are confused, for people that are in avoidance. For us in this room, we're very connected to our inner mirror inside that kind of shows us the truth and helps us to really thoroughly introspect. And we need to have a lot of unconditional acceptance for those that literally cannot find their own mirror this year. Now, with those that are dishonest, if we're standing in our truth and we're not afraid to see, two things can happen if dishonest people are around us this year. One, they may just cower. Have you seen when people just kind of cower in your energy field? Like, ooh, Or two, they may feel threatened. So just be aware of that. If you kind of feel any of those energies, it's probably because there's something they're not looking at. And the Creator said, allow those people to just leave you. To just literally just leave you. If they're being dishonest, let the Creator just move them out. The Creator said, be courteous with them if they're failing to see things clearly. Don't shame them. We have to have patience. And at all times, honor compassionate wisdom in our communication. And if they need to be moved away, just let the Creator move them away. Okay? So, last thing about this little section is we also need to be very compassionate with ourselves. This is the year of looking at things very silently when we're nervous. And by silence, I don't mean being quiet. I mean allowing the Creator to hold us in a cocoon of deep acceptance where we can slowly marinate in that acceptance and accept whatever it is that we need to accept. All right, that's our fourth theme. We got it down? Okay, you guys are still awake? Okay, thank God. Okay, next one. Moving on to the fifth theme. This is the year of treasuring the Creator's heart. And I love the word treasuring. So this is the year where we're really invited to give the Creator's heart a lot of attention. We're not meant to abandon Source this year. We're not meant to abandon God. The Creator said, one of your deepest medicines will be to find my heart nightly. The word was nightly. The Creator said it's very good to do soul work, to do devotional work, to do channeling work at night. I'm not talking mental work. So what would an example of something mental be? Mental work. Journaling. writing your thoughts down on paper. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about soul work, where you allow the Creator's presence to come through you, where you're in deep prayer, deep reverence, deep devotion, where you're opening up your channel and letting a funnel of energy come through you from deep within your being. That's what we're talking about. Receiving the blessings, receiving the channelings. So another interesting thing about doing work at night is at night, our mind recedes to the background and silences, and our vision comes forward. Every night this happens. It's a cycle. Every night our mind silences down around 8 p.m. and our vision comes forward. So at nighttime, guys, really watch what your vision is receiving this year. Like, I know some people like to watch TV at night to decompress. I would actually minimize your TV time at night. I would minimize scrolling on social. I would do more of your soul prayer work at night, if you can. The Creator said, the cure to having clarity is to be in constant exposure to me. Come back to me every time you lose sight of the truth. I will bring you back to focus. Now, it's interesting. The Creator said, the cure is constant exposure to me. Not I meditate once a month, right? Constant exposure. Let your spiritual eyes marinate in the Creator's being nightly. That is the key to really keeping our clarity together this year. We're at the last page. Hang in there. Okay. This was longer than last year, I know. This, oh, please don't tell me I skipped a page. No, I didn't. Relax. Okay. This year, another part of treasuring the Creator's heart is opening up the Creator and channel for other people. The Creator said, my dear children, be humble gardeners of faith for those in need. Now, what's another word for faith? Spiritual connection. Be humble gardeners of spiritual connection for those in need. So this is a year where we're really being invited to share our faith tools with the community, to really call others into their spiritual practice, to call others into their faith, you know, with our energy. This is the year that when we stand in faith, we're going to have a lot of honest conversations with the Creator in our soul. We are going to really feel into what the Creator's plan is for us. And sometimes the Creator's plans for us are not the plans that we have for ourselves. I can be honest and say, most of my life, the plans that I have had for myself have not been the plans that the Creator has had for me. So I've really, really come to understand that, especially this past few years. And I want to share another story with you guys. Where's my story? I already lost it. Story. Okay. Guys, I don't know why all my stories tonight are about houses. I just realized this. This is another house story. I'm so sorry. They're so lame. But okay. Just bear with me on our house stories. Okay. So a lot of you people know where I teach my Creator classes here in Arizona. I've been in that space for 3 years. I love that space, but this last year I really felt I wanted to grow, and I really felt I needed a bigger teaching room. We're starting to get a little tight in there. And so I sat down in Channel a few months ago, and I said, Creator, I want to move. Is it time for me to move? I'm ready. And the Creator said, no. I'm like, really? And the Creator said, my dear daughter, that place is so mature for you and it protects you so deeply. If you move this year, it will overwhelm you. Stay exactly where you're at and let that place continue to protect you. Oh, I just felt that in my heart. So the reason I'm sharing this is because sometimes, guys, we always think bigger is better. It's time to expand. It's time to get bigger. You hear about that a lot. You know, more, bigger, 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 more this, more money, bigger space, bigger, bigger. And, you know, me and my dear friend, Nicole Maiden, we have so many conversations about this. She's going to come on stage at the end and do our final prayer. This woman keeps me sane sometimes because I feel like she's one where we really, really see eye to eye here a lot. And, you know, online right now, there's so many messages about don't expand your business twice as big, expand it 10 times as big, 10x it, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Those messages are extremely misleading. Extremely, extremely misleading. And I'll tell you why. Because not every season is that season. You know, for people, sometimes we're in business for 10 years before it's time for that next expansion rate. And to mentally, willfully try and create that because you went to some podcast or you read some book or you saw some online Instagram, whatever, that said that is really, really, really false. So be very aware this year of messages like that and tune into your own soul. You know, tune into where it is that your own soul wants to take you, because I guarantee you, most of the time, it's against the grain of what the outer public is telling you to do or what the outer public example is setting for you. Okay? So, I saw the creator placing a huge tiger in our eyes. I mean, the animal tiger. And if you guys know tigers are very sharp. They have very thorough sight, and they are not afraid to see things. So this year, if any of you like spirit animals, call in a pet tiger to sit by your shoulders, because having a feline tiger protect your eye is a very, very beautiful thing to have. And really tune in and see what season it is for you with your pet tiger, okay? Now, a part of this fifth theme, the last part of this fifth theme, is the eye of faith is the most important eye to awaken. So we've talked about the eye of recognition, we've talked about the eye of elegance, the eye of compassion, but the Creator wants us to know that the eye of faith is the most important of all eyes to open. And this was the most powerful part of the channeling when it came through and we were sitting down. I saw the eternal eye of the Creator shining through our spiritual vision this year. And it was like huge. It was like beaming in through. So this is a good year to work with the eternal eye of God to really open up your eyes of faith. And the Creator really wants us to use its heart. You know how we talked about treasuring its heart this year? To use its heart for healing. This is really important this year because we're meant to make amends with the past in a much more natural and organic ways instead of expelling the past this year. Does that make sense? This isn't a year of harsh purging and vomiting out the past and crying it out and hitting the pillows 100 times. No, let the past heal more softly, gently, and organically. And the Creator said for us to not question the past or commiserate with it, but to move forward elegantly. The Creator doesn't want us spending too much time on the past anymore, kind of looking through our wounds over and over and over again. This is the year where it's time to just accept it and move forward. And now we come to our final theme for the night. Okay. Our final theme for the night is this is the year of creating our legacies. And the Creator said, my dear children, make more leg room for your legacies this year. And the Creator said, those that create legacies are those that bring an aspect of my will onto the earth. How beautiful is that? That's what creating a legacy really is. It's not about becoming famous. It's not about being recognized by thousands and thousands of people. Your legacy is bringing an aspect of the Creator's will onto the planet. That's what true legacy is about. And the Creator said, to be in legacy is to be in complete co-creation with me. So the Creator told me that all of us in this room are here to create legacies in this lifetime and really leave something special behind. So this year, let's put the next steps of our bricks onto our legacies, onto our plans. Last year, it was really about creating the foundation for everything. And now this year, we can put those bricks on even further for our legacies. And a part of that, the Creator said, is many will have prosperous businesses if they stand with me in prayer. So that means if you're wanting a little bit more abundance or wealth this year, ask the Creator to walk before your path and open those doors for you. Don't open them by yourself. Be in prayers and allow the Creator to open those doors with you. The Creator really wants to make way for fortune this year, for abundance this year. It wants to support us and help us to really build wisely. And this year, the more we accept the Creator's vision, the more surplus we're going to have. Again, tying it back down to the vision. So the Creator said, a good prayer is, Creator, let me see opportunities through your sight. Let me see opportunities through your sight. All right. And now we are finally at the final channeled message that came through. I'm going to read the Creator's words for you. Dear children, do not underestimate your value this year. Your value is very important to me. To be in your value is to see yourself for who you truly are. It is to see yourself through my eyes. And so those were the last words that I was left with in the channeling. And I absolutely love it. To see how valuable we are, we must see ourselves through God's eyes. And that's how we come into connection with our value. So that is the forecast of 2025. Good luck, guys. Quick recap. First theme, opening up our eye to inner recognition, seeing the truth from within. Second theme, making honesty our deepest value. Third theme, humbly considering things with the Creator in the Creator's heart and safety. Fourth thing, looking at everything through the eyes of elegance and compassion. And fifth theme, this is the year of creating our legacies. All right, yes, please let's give a clap.